Guess what we're going to review today? Guess, Kai, guess.
I'm
Guess, guess.
assuming we're doing Godmothered.
Yes!
I know,
We're
I'm just psychic
doing,
like that.
we're doing Godmothered. So, you
Yes,
want to hear about our opinions and thoughts? Stick around.
yes.
We'll be
Stick
right
around.
All right, welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back to Talk Mix. Hey, I'm Tina,
And I'm Kai.
and we're having fun today. Did you wear
Yes.
your pajamas and drink wine, or in your sweats while you were watching Godmother yesterday?
So I drank wine.
You drank wine.
I drank wine. I had a glass of wine.
Glass of wine.
I did put it down though because I think when she did get to that, the middle part of her, being old, I was like, oh, she's probably only in her 30s.
Like,
So I was like, what are the rest of us in our 20s gonna do?
yes, we're all 29. I'm 29 and a half.
I'm actually excited that Disney Plus is actually doing their own content that are original, like for streaming. And I don't just mean like original, because they've done movies for years, they've done series for years.
Of course.
But to have streaming originals, I think that's going to be great for them because then they don't have to worry about purchasing other ones. And you know what I mean? They have their own original content, which they have had before. But, this is it's a streaming original. And I think that's what I think is really, really cool. Like, it's not a movie made for theaters. It's a movie made for streaming. And I love that concept. But what did you think?
Of it being made for streaming? Well, I think it's cool.
Like, do you think it was a theater movie? Like, would you go to a theater? Exactly.
To see this movie? No, I would not pay the money to see this movie.
Right. I would not pay.
I would probably maybe pay $4.99 if it came out and I thought it was funny.
Right.
But honestly, no.
Yeah. See, it wouldn't be a theater. And that's why I wanted to know your thoughts. Like, if you thought it was a theater-worthy production. It's an amazing production. It is. I'm not even saying that it's not, but it's just, for streaming.
For streaming, because I think, let me tell you why. I think the first majority of the film, I was like, oh, I can see this maybe, just playing around the holidays, in the theater. But then the message started to get a little heavy-handed near the end. I thought they went a little above and beyond. it was a wonderful message, but I thought they went
right
near the end. And the production at the end, I just went, huh? And we can talk about that later. Yeah.
Well, and I think, I think one of the best things they did though was they made it they gave it a strong female presence. And I don't know how you felt about that, but like there was Eleanor, who was played by Jillian Bell. Very talented though. She's that cute fairy godmother perfectly.
She was a cutie patootie. You're like, you're a fairy godmother. You are perky. You are bubbly. You believe in magic. You believe in romance.
Right? It's so perfect. And ball gowns and she was perfect. She played it so well. But just the, starting from her and the rest of the godmothers, like they were adorable. How they were like, this is old school.
I just love how everybody, they're like, our hair is up to here, and we got birds' nests in them. We're kind of old and crotchety. And here's this young ingenue over here wearing her pink, and her hair's all hi.
Right. And I remember that. Yeah, and they were actually hilarious. The other fairy godmothers, like just the African American one. She's like, and I need to find out her name, but she was so funny. She was like, I was like, wow, they even had attitude with godmothers. I was like, that is perfect. But just knowing that they had so much female presence. I mean, she went to help another lady, and then the camera lady, like the cameraman was the lady. Her sister was in the show. She had daughters. It was just full of women. It was full of women. And I thought that was one of the biggest things they could have done for this film. Um, I'm not sure who Isla Fisher is. She was the one who played Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know much about her. I don't know if you know a little more, but
she reminded me more of, who was that actress who was in it'll come to me after we're done talking.
No, it totally will. It totally will. But I was impressed with the reporter, the news
Mm-hmm.
reporter. He was
Mm-hmm.
played by his last name was Prince. You
Yes.
know what I mean? And what is his name? Santiago
Mm-hmm.
Cabrera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was kind of.
He was kind of swoon-worthy.
Yes.
Yes, he was.
But I think he's a good version of today's
Mm-hmm.
Prince Charming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that because
Mm-hmm.
he's ethnic. He was ethnic.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Mm-hmm.
like, he was a warrior in his industry. He was a
Mm-hmm.
news reporter. He was, he knew what he wanted to do. He was, and I just love that. And that's how I took it. I was like, he's definitely, strong in his industry. And I like how they made that more of a Prince Charming instead of, the knight in shining armor, or
right.
like they gave him something different. But I did like the storyline. What did you think of the storyline, you personally? Like, what did you think of the storyline? Do you think it was like, oh, well, I'm going to go save this girl to save motherland so that godmothers can exist again? What?
Well,
Is that even the storyline?
That was the beginning of it, but then I loved it how Ilsa turned it around on her and said, "You're not helping me. You're helping yourself. So this is all about you. It's not about me." And so in the beginning, you're like, I have to go run and save someone so I can save us. And by doing that, everyone will be happy. Everyone will have their happy ever after. But, like she says, reality isn't all bows and ball gowns and happy endings. Sometimes people just have a hard time with happy. So that was a good message there,
I did
too.
like that, though. Especially when they're from Massachusetts.
When they're from Massachusetts. Yes.
Oh.
From Boston, Massachusetts.
I was like,
that's great.
Wow. This is awesome.
I understand you used to live in Massachusetts.
Yes, just a smaller part of Massachusetts in Chicopee.
Yeah,
you were on the eastern side, right?
I lived in Massachusetts as well. I lived when I was a young lass. I lived in Clarksburg, which is in the Berkshires, and then I lived in New Adams.
Do we have any Massachusetts
North Adams
in the house? If you are from Massachusetts, make sure you comment, because I loved it there. We were just right above Schenectady. We were right, like, you just drive down 91 and you hit up all those wonderful places. I miss it, but I'm definitely not an East Coast.
Oh, I'm a born and raised New Englander, honey.
Oh, yeah. Goodness. Mm-hmm. And we're such Patriots fan, except, well, my kids, they love lots of different football teams, but I'm such a New England Patriots.
We were all Red Sox fans.
Interesting.
Growing up. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Red Sox. My uncle's all Red Sox.
That is perfect. But yeah, I mean, like you said, they were trying to go for a bigger message, and I think it was a great message, though. I mean, because what I got out of it was love is love. That's basic. It doesn't have to be with someone else. It doesn't, like in this case, it was her family. It was her kids.
Family.
It was
they were her happily ever after.
Yeah, that was her happily ever after, and I loved that message. I did see, and you could correct me, I thought there was, like, when Eleanor was asking people in the audience, was one of the couples gay?
It could they could have been
two men holding a
baby.
Yes, and then there was a normal couple, holding, and I thought it was just great. I thought it was just great that the LGBT community is being presented as mainstream. And I've always been a huge advocate for that. I just want to share love is love, and that's always been my thing. But I gotta admit, I loved Gary. Every time Gary was around, there was something happened. Gary the raccoon, if you guys have not seen it.
He was getting a bit fatter as the movie went on. Did you notice?
And naughty.
Very
naughty. Like before he did his chores, he swept, and then little by little.
He's going for the cake. He's going for the decorations. He's going for his bottom is getting wider, and he's like, why are you waking me up? For a computer animated little character, he was quite funny.
I adored him. I adored him. I adored him. But I read that they filmed this in January, February.
Really?
Yes. So it literally took just a little bit to do visual effects, and all of that. And usually visual effects takes a good amount of time. And I thought this was still kind of long because today they can do them so, a lot quicker. So I was surprised that, they filmed it early 2020, and they said they filmed it before the pandemic happened. Yeah. So, and then after that, I guess people just couldn't go into the studio, so it was done from home. Maybe that's why it took a little longer. But I actually thought the visual effects were so cute, very girly.
Maybe that's why I thought I found it a bit disconjointed at the ending, because remember how I told you yesterday, I was like, why is this animated at the end? It wasn't animated in the beginning. And it's kind of weird. But now that if they were doing post-production and they had to do additional scenes and they couldn't get anybody together, that's why they animated it.
I did hear the team behind this film, though, was the team behind Enchanted. So
really?
I heard that it was because of that whole connection that they were like, oh, well, let's do an animated version of Eleanor. But at the same time, that does make more sense that they would have just stayed home and they couldn't finish filming because of the pandemic. And so they were like, well, let's just do this ending. Because, the entire ending was all animation.
And you're like, I was just like a little put off at that. And I was like, oh.
I was pleased that it was a Christmas movie. I am a Christmas crazy fanatic. I mean, look at this.
If there's people for Christmas,
yes, this was all up like in September.
September 1st, he brought that out. He started planning his Christmas decorations.
I don't think it's a Christmas. I don't think it's enough of a Christmas movie for me to watch it every year.
No.
I think this is it's not like Christmas Story. It's not like White Christmas. It's not like, Home Alone. It's not.
Or like last year when Disney Plus, when they first came out last year, their first holiday movie was Noel. Do you remember that one? I do. And I like that one.
I did it. But I'm not a huge fan of Anna Kendrick. I know.
Are you my friend?
I just never.
Are you my friend?
I know. Please don't hate me in the comments. But I'm just not. I think she's talented. I think she's a great singer. I'm just not a personal fan of Anna Kendrick. So when I saw her in that movie, I was like, meh. I was like, hard pass.
That's fighting words right there. Okay, we'll agree to disagree.
But do you think they would actually make a sequel to this? Do you think this is something that deserves a sequel?
I think what would be fun is to see if the kids, her daughters, one of them wanted, like, the youngest daughter, because, it was more, we saw more of the middle schooler daughter. I want to see the youngest daughter do something,
and she's the one that seemed to have her head on, like, the entire movie. She's like, oh, yeah, well, my dad died this time. That's why my mom doesn't talk. Oh, yeah, she's a singer, but she doesn't like to sing. And you know what I mean? She's just like, she's like the one with the calm head, like, meh. they're just dumb.
Well, you imagine how old that. I mean, what she's maybe 8 or 9, so she probably doesn't remember her dad that much.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. So, well, that's our thoughts on the movie Godmothered on Disney Plus. What do you guys think? Did you guys watch it? What did you guys think about it? We want to know.
But it's really fun. Just wear your sweats and get some wine or get them hot chocolate. But make sure when you do that spell for the marshmallows, it doesn't explode.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You just want to do a little dab with the magic wand, not the big dab with the magic wand.
Yes.
Because you don't want them to go all over the place.
But don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.